for visiting Harmoniously Evolved. My name is Dr. McBride, and again, I am just starting a new podcast. It feels like forever since I've opened up a new station to speak to the public in a more fashionable way. So today, quickly, I'll read from Free to be Unbound, one of my published books on Barnes & Nobles. Hopefully you enjoy it. I tried to make it an easy read and to focus on the Black community. I made it easy so that at least you can have the knowledge if it ever becomes your turn to face the criminal justice system. April 13th, 2022. According to OJP.gov, corrections in the criminal justice system is the supervision of a person arrested for or convicted of or sentenced for criminal offenses. The goal of the correction subdomain is to help prevent crime. However, if a person is arrested or detained, the corrections department oversees the inmates while assisting in the rehabilitation of the persons. During this time, the inmates' Amendment 4 rights of not being searched or having property seized without cause does not apply. The inmate must abide by the rules of the jail as well as laws already set in place by the legal system. The inmate does still have the United States constitutional rights of Amendment 5 while being arrested, the right to remain silent. Amendment 6, which gives an inmate the right to a speedy trial. Amendment 7, permitting all inmates a chance to face a jury. Amendment 8, being safe from inhumane conditions and treatment as well as excessive bond amounts. And Amendment 14, which protects minorities. He, she, or they cannot be harassed by correctional officers or inmates because of being a minority. Jails and prisons are similar because they both are used to detain people, male and female, whom have been accused of a crime. Both institutions provide clothing, shelter, meals, and rehabilitation programs for inmates to slow recidivism, having them mentally prepared to return to society as productive citizens. All jails and prisons are overseen by correctional officers or prison guards in order to maintain the safety of staff, inmates, and visitors. Inmates lose their Amendment 4 rights, protecting him or her from search and seizure of their personal property. Inmates do not have the right to move around freely and must follow the policies and procedures of the jails and or prisons, such as when to eat, sleep, and how to maintain his or her clothing. Such information is given to each person in the form of an inmate handbook. Jails and prisons have many differences as well. For example, jails house inmates who are sentenced and unsentenced to the state, whereas prisons only accommodate people whom have been charged with a felony or felonies and must serve at least a year and a day in bondage. Jails house people of all types of crimes until they are sentenced or proven innocent, whereas prisons are classified by custody level. Not all prisons are maximum security, housing people on death row, awaiting an appeal, retrial, or death. Probation and parole are similar because they are sentenced by the courts to persons charged with a crime. Both provide supervision outside of jail with a scheduled release where a scheduled release inmate must maintain in order to not return to incarceration. Violating the terms of his or her conditional release may send the person back to jail or prison. However, that is not always the case. Probation and parole officers have the authority to send a person to drug or behavioral classes before submitting documents to the courts. and have him or her return to jail or prison. The biggest difference between probation officers and a parole officer is a probation officer deals with misdemeanor and felony cases, which have been placed under conditional release instead of completing a sentence length of under 12 months, whereas parole officers deal with felons who have been sentenced to prison and released early. His or her sentence would have been a year and a day or longer. Established in legal practice in the 19th century, rehabilitation was viewed as a humane alternative to retribution and deterrence, though it did not necessarily result in an officer receiving a more lenient penalty than he would have received under a retributive or deterrent law. The rehabilitation model has been the most successful in accomplishing the goals of the corrections system. People who have been trained and given new ways to live through supervision typically have a new outlook on life instead of returning to society with the same frame of mind. Study.com defines the rehabilitation model as using rehabilitative measures rather than punishment to address criminals in the prison system. The website also mentions the rehabilitation and criminal justice focuses on helping the offender understand the wrongs and prepares them to re-enter society as a reformed person, which would reduce the chances of a person returning back to jail or prison. I'm going to play a little meditation music as we close out, hopefully as I develop the podcast and my theories. You all will learn to breathe in and out and have a new way of thinking, which is healthy and mentally sane for the sane person. I am a member of NAACP. Yay! If you are a member of the NAACP, I congratulate you. Congratulations. Terrorism, cyber hacking, cyber warfare is an issue. I am constantly hacked, even if it's drug addict kids. So whatever you hear in the background that is a local hacker, I have contacted Secret Service, Homeland Security, the FBI as well. Well, it has been a harmonious time. However, I must go. You all enjoy your night.